All right, so for today's SEL lesson, we're going to pick back up where you guys left off last semester, okay? So this is the 12th lesson overall, or I think the 12th lesson in this unit. No, it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th lesson in this unit. So you guys were looking at recognizing bullying and harassment, okay? I'm going to go back to our slides. So in this lesson, you guys are going to learn how to make school more inclusive, and requesting policy changes can disrupt the factors that contribute to bullying and harassment. All right, so think about a time someone helped you feel included, or a time you helped someone else feel included. So what did you do? How do you think it felt for everyone involved? You guys can either think to yourselves, you can type it in the chat, you can unmute yourself, or whatever you would like. I feel like the more we talk, the better, but if you do not have anything to share, then that is okay. I feel like this is something that a lot of you guys in this class do. Um, you help others feel included, you like to talk to others, so that is good. So be thinking about that. We're going to go on to define slide. So disruption strategies. Hold on, I'm going to look at the chat. Okay. Okay, you put something in the chat. It's a good place to start. All right, so just some disruption strategies. These strategies can help create a more positive school culture where bullying and harassment aren't tolerated. It wants us to click the white dots to find out some more. So there are 2 white dots here. I'm going to click on this one first. So a disruption strategy is to make school more inclusive. It wants you to welcome and help students you don't know. Start an open lunch table where anyone can sit. We can't really do that right now. But it wants you to promote a kinder and more inclusive behavior whenever you can. Okay, so a lot of this is about being kind, being more inclusive, including people. Here is another one, is to request policy change. It says to challenge a school or class policy you believe contributes to bullying and harassment. So maybe there's a policy at Hayes, hopefully there's not, that you would like to change or see better, so that there isn't as much bullying harassment at Hayes. Okay, so I'm going to move on to this really short activity. It's kind of weird in these slides, so we're going to go to what would have been your handout. Okay, so if we were in class, hopefully when we come back, the second step lesson will be taught on Fridays with you guys. So there's only going to be one second step lesson per week. And we will do that on Friday. So this would be the handout that you guys get. We'd have the warm-up, this activity, and then a wrap-up, which we will all do together right now. Okay, so we did this warm-up. I want you guys to take a look at this vocab right here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see it a tiny bit better. But take a look at these vocab words. These shouldn't be new except for this disrupt. Okay, so we learned about environmental factors last semester, hopefully, with your other teacher. And environmental factors are the physical space and any rules and regulations that apply within an area. And then social factors are some common beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors of a particular group or community. All right, and then the disrupt, when we're talking about disruption strategies, not challenges, is to prevent something from continuing as usual or expected. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down here. It wants us to move on to the activity. So we're going to work as a group, not working as partners. It wants us to choose one of the 2 scenarios and identify the social and environmental factors that might contribute to the bullying or harassment in that scenario, and then explain which disruption strategy you think that the students should use and how. Okay, so remember what social and environmental factors are? I just showed them to you. Environmental factors are the physical space. Social factors are the beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors. All right, so let's choose a scenario. Okay, so our first scenario is Amani and Michaela notice a meme being circulated on their favorite social media app that depicts negative stereotypes of women. Pretty soon, many students at school are referencing the meme in the halls to make insulting jokes about women. Scenario 2 says Sarah and Dario notice that students grab or touch each other in unwanted ways in the stairwell. Staff are in classrooms when it happens and students don't know who to talk to about it. Okay? Which one we want to pick? Y'all choose. We're only going to do one. All right, Tyler says 2. Katie says 2. 2. All right, let's go with 2. All right, so Sarah and Dario, I was trying to put Sarah and Dario together. Sarah and Dario notice that students grab or touch each other in unwanted ways in the stairwell. Staff are in the classrooms when it happens and students don't know who to talk to about it. All right, so some social factors that contribute. So when we talk about social factors, I'm going to scroll up here again one more time. They are common beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors of a particular group or community. All right, so we're going to choose from these 3. We can either choose all of them, one of them, or however many we want. And those social factors could be bullying is accepted. So that means that touching each other in unwanted areas is accepted, which I don't think we should go with that. Some stereotypes and assumptions, power and privilege. All right, Katie, are you saying 2 and what are you saying 2 and 3? So you're saying the stereotypes and assumptions and power and privilege. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it depends on scenario.
Yeah. When it says power and privilege, I guess it's just people that think that they can do more or have more privilege, right? So you could go with this one. So people who are bullying could be thinking that they have more privilege and they can just do what they want. All right, I would agree with Katie on this one. All right, so some environmental factors that contribute, you can check all that apply. And remember, environmental factors are the physical space and any rules and regulations that apply within an area. All right, so Katie's saying physical spaces. What's everybody else think? Could it be both? Could it be the other one? What do you guys think? The more we talk, the more we put in the chat, the quicker this goes and the better we can understand this and move on to the next thing. All right, so Connor and Jake are both saying 1 and 2. So in this scenario, staff aren't in the hallways, they're in the classrooms. All right, so I'm going to go with 1 and 2 because I agree with Jake and Connor. Because teachers are in their classrooms, the students are in a certain space and this is happening, and then there should be some rules and regulations around this, right? All right, so last question for this activity, and then we're going to move on to the wrap up. It says, which disruption strategy could the students use and how could they use it? All right, so either make school more inclusive or request a policy change. All right, so yeah, with this scenario, we don't really need to make school more inclusive. We need to do something about a policy change. And Connor said there's a rule that says you can't do that, right? So there's a rule talking about probably keeping your hands to yourself. We learned that in elementary school, so I hope you guys know that. And it says, how could they use it? I'm just going to say keeping your hands to yourself. All right, so for our wrap up, I'm going to go back to our slides. It wants us to list 2 social factors and 1 environmental factor that you feel contribute to bullying and harassment at Hayes. Katie said you wanted to note that there should be rules. I didn't really understand. I just don't want anyone to think that there should be no rules. All right, 2 social factors. No, you're good. Keep going, Katie.
Sorry.
I kind of cut you off. I get that. All right, so 2 social factors, 1 environmental factor that you feel contribute to bullying and harassment at our school. All right, so what could be 2 social factors as to why there might be bullying at our school? What do you guys think? I'm going to go back up here to social factors. For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes kids aren't very kind or very nice, so that's why I think that happens. I want to add to that. So when I'm talking about being kind and all this, it's just kind of how you're raised, maybe. And sometimes you don't think about being kind, you kind of just start thinking about yourself, right? Katie made a good point about environmental factors too, about teachers not being able to be in every spot in the building. But there are rules and there are regulations in different places of the building. So you guys, since we're not there, it really doesn't matter right now. But when we do get to school, there will be some rules. And so you have champs in every single part of the building. You have champs in your classroom. You have champs in the hallway. You have champs in the gym. You have champs in the cafeteria. Okay, so those are what we will follow when we get back to school. But we will not have to go over those right now since we're obviously not in school. Okay. That is everything that I have for you guys today. The last thing that I want you to make sure that you do is this lesson 12 assignment. It is technically an ungraded survey, so you will get points if you just do it. It is asking you questions about what's something that you can do to be more inclusive. Thinking of a club you might make to include multiple groups of people and the kind of activities you would do to make everyone feel included. And then what is something you can do if you see bullying inside or outside of your school? Okay, so this is kind of just going off of what we learned today and thinking about what you can do in your own school. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. If not, I will